see you.
Thanks for having me.
We're in Vegas.
Yeah.
It's Black Hat, Hacker Summer Camp Week. Lots of fun stuff going on here.
For sure.
I think there might be a little AI floating around.
Just a tad.
Just a tad bit.
Every so often you run by it.
Just a tad bit. Well, we had a chance to chat with you the other day, and we're excited to tell the Embed Security story here today. You guys are doing some really cool stuff, great backgrounds leading to some great outcomes. So we're going to talk about that today. A few words about yourself. I know you're going to be a little humble. But I'm going to push on you a little bit.
Fair enough.
You've done some interesting things. You've been in some cool places.
Yeah.
So give us a little background of what you've been up to, and then we'll get into a bit about what Embed.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So myself, 25 years in security now. I started out, I spent about a decade at the NSA doing NSA things. That was great. Got to travel around the world and do all kinds of stuff, meet great people, and yeah, lots of fun stuff I can't talk too much about.
Right. NSA things.
Exactly. Exactly. Since then, I left there and I went to Mandiant. I spent about a decade at Mandiant. Joined there when it was about 40 or so people, and got to go through that whole journey and experience all of that, which was awesome.
You see a lot of stuff in there.
Definitely a lot of stuff. A lot of clients, a lot of firsts, super smart people. So it was great to be part of that, and I got to be part of all different parts of the company. So did malware reverse engineering, I did consulting on IRs, I got to ship kernel drivers in the product, all kinds of stuff. So it was just great experience there across all things. And finished up there as the head of innovation and custom engineering, which was a lot of just really smart people doing cool, fun stuff all across the company. So that was great.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And you had a stint somewhere else?
Yeah, I spent a couple of years at Meta supporting a whole bunch of business unit level CISOs, basically.
So right back to the CISO level again. And so you have a co-founder with, maybe two co-founders, right?
We have a co-founder, yeah. Jeffrey Johns.
Yes.
Yep.
That's right. Equally
very accomplished.
Accredited.
Yep.
Accomplished person. And data scientist.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken.
He is.
And yeah, so the two of you together, you come together to do some really good things here. So tell us what the catalyst was for coming together to build Embed Security.
Yeah, so Jeff and I worked together at Mandiant as part of the innovation and custom engineering team, like I was saying. And he had a whole data science team that was doing cool stuff there for Mandiant. And one of the things one of the organizations we worked with was the managed service that we had there at Mandiant. And we got to see on a daily basis just the pains that they would go through and the way that functioned on a very human-driven scale. And so, we did some stuff for them back, a decade ago. But, shortly before founding Embed, Jeff and I got together and we were like, hey, there's a great opportunity here to solve this problem that's, we're very passionate about,
right.
Which is, how do we help security operations teams operate more efficiently?
So what were some of the things, because it's a big bucket of inefficiencies and stress and burnout and stuff still gets through, right? All these different things. So what are some of the scenarios that really drove you to say, this is what we want to tackle?
Yeah, I think it really comes down to like the burnout that you see, right? Of just the repetition of the types of work that they do, and how they don't get to spend as much time on the stuff that they really enjoy, that they find fun, right? And so it was, hey, how can we help them stay more focused on that and not have to worry about all this other stuff?
Right.
And so that's where it was like, hey, there's a real opportunity here to take a good chunk of this stuff off of their plate, and not eliminate security analysts and they're not needed anymore, but just change their role, change their job, change what it is that they're focused on.
Yeah. So for a number of years now, the human element is surfaced.
Yeah.
And it's been, I don't know, used and abused to some degree. I think you guys put your brand behind it, and even your time and energy behind supporting the health of the community. I think you sponsored the health, I guess, program at B-Sides. Maybe you can elaborate on that a little bit.
Yeah, we work with Dr. Sarah at B-Sides for the last two B-Sides that we've been to, and She has a calming kit that she has and a whole program around helping security analysts to learn to deal with the stresses and pressures of working in a SOC. When you're under all that pressure and there's an IR that's going on and you have to solve these problems as fast as you can, that can be a lot of pressure for folks. And so we work with her because we believe this is very important.
Yeah. So I love that. And so when you're having conversations with organizations, who's it with? Is it the analyst? Is it the SOC manager? Is it the security leaders? Is it the CISO?
Yeah.
All the above?
Yeah. From like a sales cycle,
Right.
tends to be like the CISO or maybe the director of security operations. But the person using our product day to day is the security analyst most often.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so I presume you get a chance to talk to a lot of them. What's top of mind for them? Is it give me more tooling, give me more information,
Yeah.
take stuff off my plate?
Yeah.
What are they looking for?
It's definitely it takes stuff off of my plate,
Okay.
but it's take stuff off of my plate in a way that I can trust it. So they don't just want an answer of this is good or this is bad. They want to know why we think it's good or bad. They want to be able to dig in further. They want to be able to prove to themselves that the AI is doing what they think it should be doing. And so it's much more than just, take this off of my plate so I don't have to think about it.
Right.
It's take it off my plate. I don't want to have to think about it, but I want to know that I can trust what's happening.
Right. It still has to happen.
The what?
It still has to happen.
Yeah.
And still has to be trusted that it got the result that I would have gotten, or perhaps even better.
Exactly.
Right. So give me some scenarios where you've helped individuals or you've helped multiple individuals as part of a team accomplish something that wasn't possible just with humans sitting at a keyboard.
Yeah. It most frequently comes down to volume. So,
Okay.
think about like, you get phishing emails forwarded in, right? And you got 2 analysts at your organization and you get 100 a day. Like, you're not going to be able to get through all of those, right? So, they're kind of selectively picking which ones they should
Right.
look at, right? And then they feel bad because they can't get to all of them. That's an area where we can come in and really help, right? But we can do that across not just email. We can do it with identity. We can do it with SIM. We can do it with endpoint, right? And so, as your SIM over alerts or your EDR is over alerting, we can help handle that so you feel like, hey, I understand the full risk profile that I have here.
So where do you fit into, we'll call it the security operation stack? Do you sit alongside a SIM, within a SIM, on top?
Yeah. Yeah.
What's that environment look like?
We describe it as we sit downstream from your existing security investments.
Okay.
So you don't have to rip and replace anything. You already have a ton of products that do detection, right? I mean, there's already SIMs, there's already EDRs, there's already all of this stuff. So we're not trying to be one of those or be a better one of those. We're trying to take those signals in and help you process through all of them already.
And what are some results? I think the ultimate is respond faster,
Yeah.
right? Close tickets more quickly. What are some examples of results that you receive or achieve for some of your clients?
Yeah, one of our largest clients, they did a large bake-off between us and several of our other competitors, and we dispositioned roughly 75% of their alerts for them, to where they didn't have to look at them, they didn't have to pay attention to them as the primary. And so basically what they did was they looked at all of them and they said, okay, you guys are extremely accurate, and so if we didn't, 75% of these we don't even have to pay attention to. So that's a huge thing when you consider, they're looking at more than 10,000 alerts a day, and so if we can take 75% of those off their plate.
Right. So presumably one way of validating accuracy is to handpick a few and actually do it manually and compare it against the results. I'm going to guess AI-driven technology, Embed Security is. So, which usually means we do some cool stuff, you don't get to see it, you have to trust us. So how do you negotiate and build that trust beyond just manually checking things and spot checking?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we have what we call chain of evidence. So we do from the very beginning, right? I've been in security for 25 years. Jeff's been doing the ML for 25 years. And so we knew from the very beginning trust was going to be a big part of this, right? We've had AI and ML and security for a long time, but it's been very black box where you just get an answer and then the analyst is like, okay, well, why did it say this? And you have to go back and figure it all out. So from the very beginning, we were like, hey, we don't want people to have to do that with this product. And so we have chain of evidence as part of that. So you can easily see everything that we've done, all the questions we ask, how we came to the decision that we came to. And so you can look at it from that perspective. The other way that folks do it is they'll sometimes go backwards in time, right? They've already dispositioned a whole bunch of alerts. They can have us disposition those and they can say, okay, how does it compare?
Interesting. So, no question, AI enables individuals and teams to do things on their own. And it'd be very tempting, I would think, for security operations teams to try to do some of this themselves.
Yeah.
And certainly they know their environment, and they might say, we know our environment perhaps better than somebody else.
Yep.
How do you, I'm presuming it's baked into the decades of work that you've done, but how do you show them that we can actually do this beyond just the validation that you mentioned earlier, to say it's this knowledge of years, decades, and the data science behind it. It's not just writing an agent.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So describe that scenario to me and having that conversation to help them understand what's really at risk if they try to do it themselves.
Yeah, it's a conversation we have frequently with folks because it is appealing to try to do this yourself, right? LLMs make things very simple. Mm-hmm. You can get a demo up and running really quickly and you can show yourself, hey, look, this does this really well. And so, but that's just the tip of the iceberg, right? And so we try to show people, hey, we're not saying don't build it yourself, but these are all the things you need to consider, right? Mm-hmm. Do you have evaluation loops where, if I make a change, I can know if that change makes it better or worse? Mm-hmm. You don't want to look at that at one alert at a time, right? You want to look at that hundreds or thousands of alerts at a time to know whether or not what the impact of that change is. Do you have governance in place? Do you have organizational knowledge in an automated way? There's just so many things that folks need to consider beyond just getting a demo up and running. So it becomes an engineering problem at a certain point. And do you want to own that engineering problem or not?
Right. And depending what industry they operate in, they might be audited on all that stuff as well.
Exactly, right.
And then you have to prove this is how I did it and why I did it that way, and it's consistent and accurate all the time. And
right.
It's very challenging.
Right.
As we wrap, Seth, maybe one final word to two different audiences, because I think the security operations leaders have a challenge with their own teams, right? Kind of getting them to be efficient and effective, but also healthy, right?
Yep.
And then there's the analysts. So maybe two words of advice to each of them, one word of advice to each of them, just to kind of say, here's what we can do to help you.
Yeah, I think from the leaders side, what we can get to them is consistency, right? There's a lot of folks that are like, hey, I get inconsistent results depending on the analyst that takes a ticket, that kind of thing. And as a leader, you really want to know, what is my full risk profile? And if you're only looking at 10% of your alerts, you're not really looking at that full risk profile, right? So that's what we're really trying to help with there. From the analyst side of the page, hey, we're trying to help create an environment where you can have a full, long, lengthy career here in security operations and not burn out after 2 to 3 years because you're constantly doing the same things, right? And we're really here to try and help you focus on the things that I think are most interesting and where I want to spend most of my time and where they probably want to spend most of their time as well, which is on the interesting alerts and the interesting parts of compromise.
Yeah. Fantastic. Sounds good. Seth,
great.
Pleasure chatting with you. Love what you're doing there.
Thank you.
And I'm going to guess a lot of the analysts love what you're doing there too, if it gives them a chance to breathe.
Yeah.
A chance to breathe. So thanks everybody for listening and watching. Connect with Seth and the team at Embed Security, and stay tuned for more here on ITSP Network.